What's going on YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how my client Lee was able to make an insane transformation. He dropped about 15 pounds on the scale, but when you look at these photos, he looks so much leaner, way more muscle mass, and I'm going to break down exactly what we did to get him to the other side. So I'm going to share my screen with you to show you how this looks so you can actually see what the transformation looks like itself, and we will get right into things. So first things first, bear with me because my loom has no storage left. So here we are. All right, this is a lead before. As you can see on the left from the side photos, a lot more water weight in general, but also a lot more body fat in the chest, the abdomen, even the arms and shoulders. Now, on the after picture of the side photo, you can see not just are his triceps way more defined, his chest is way more defined and fuller. You can also see the midsection and the V lines of his abs quite a lot. Pretty impressive from the side. Now, from the front, you can see the chest, the shoulders definitely could use some work, and also, he could lean out a bit in the midsection. Now, on the right side, the after photo as well, you see improvements in the triceps, biceps, shoulders, and the traps. Now, the traps and the lateral delts are something we're working on, so we need to bring that up a bit. But you can see a noticeable improvement from the chest. From the midsection, his abs really starting to pop. And keep in mind, this is not a client that's in his 20s or 30s. He's in his 40s, right? So being able to see transformation like this is pretty impressive. Now, how do we actually achieve this? Well, we followed three main pillars to get him to where he wanted to be. And ultimately, we're still working towards that. But these are the three pillars and the three most important factors that I'm going to dive deep into in terms of how you can do the exact same, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, right? And you guys watching from my channel probably know I help guys between ages 25 and 45 burn body fat, build lean muscle mass by optimizing their metabolism and accelerating, the efficiency of their hormones, right? So I'm going to show you the first step that we focus on, and as simple as it is, it was nutrition, right? So we monitored three simple metrics within Lee's nutritional regimen to get him to the other side of those after photos. First thing was calorie intake. Now, I'm not saying calorie restriction, I'm saying calorie intake, which means the first few steps were getting a gauge over what he was eating, monitoring that consistently, and then making adjustments. We also looked at his macros, so protein, carb, and fat breakdown, how much of each he was getting based on lifestyle preferences, what he needed for exercise, and also his day-to-day work life and his life in general, where he is pretty active, right? So we looked at those as well. We dial in his protein first, then we dial in his fat intake. He likes to have carbs on the lower side. He feels better with that. Also, from a health provider, they recommend he does stay on a lower carb, diet. So we brought his carbs down, and we just brought his protein and fat up. Now, the benefit to having more protein is it's going to satiate him quite a lot and keep his appetite full. So he's not going to have these up and down blood sugar spikes or these cravings when somebody that's in a low protein diet deals with pretty consistently, right? So we dialed that in and then also helped him optimize the training sessions, right? Making sure that he was actually fueling properly. And then we looked at carbohydrates because carbohydrates is one thing that he definitely needs in his diet, even if he does like to be on the lower side. So we had to figure out how many carbs and what time of day he was going to be eating these carbs to get the most fuel from his workouts, recover the best, not feel sore, and run into these issues he had been dealing with. Now, final thing is water intake, and this is one of the most underlooked aspects when it comes to fitness and body composition. Is if you're under drinking, right? If you're dehydrated, your body's not going to look the way it should. If you want to have your abs pop and have that lean look, so we upped his water intake to just over a gallon of water consistently every single day, and he's also paired that with other supplements like creatine monohydrate that have helped him have a leaner, more muscular look. Second thing that we looked at was the pillar number two, which is accountability. So yeah, how we actually, helped him stay on track and made sure that he didn't fall off, he didn't take steps backwards, was number one, coaching calls. So I do have different tiers of my coaching. Some people meet with me more frequently, some people meet more actively. This particular client, kind of bounced back and forth between the two, but we saw the best results when we were meeting frequently, right, every single week. So on those coaching calls, we would break down where he was at, wins, and things that he was doing well with, and then also where he needed more help and support. Now, in addition to that accountability, where we can actually break down questions and we can do a deep dive, I also like to make sure that when we're not on our calls, you have what you need. So I implement check-in photos and weigh-ins on the scale every single week, one time a week. I know a lot of coaches in the space like to do it every single day. I personally feel like that's something that's going to be hard to stick with, especially when your weight's going to fluctuate, right? It might increase your cortisol. You might be stressed out, seeing your weight's too high or too low. That's going to affect things, as well as it's just honestly a burden. So once a week, after these fluctuations jump and rise, you're going to see steadily every single week what the results look like on the scale. Now, the reason photo check-ins are so important is because this particular client, we lost about 12 to 15 pounds, within the first couple of months. But then his weight started to stagnate, but the body composition improved quite dramatically. So looking at both metrics, not just the weight, but also, the photos is important, because if we look at the weight on the scale, it's going down maybe a a pound every week instead of the rate it was before, but he's looking much better, just as a sign that he's building lean muscle mass. His metabolism is becoming more efficient, partitioning nutrients into where they need to go. And you're obviously seeing that from the photos, right? The before and afters. Now, another thing we did was we did live feedback with adjustments and program updates. So, for example, Lee would often send me a message, either via chat or a voice audio in the chat, and just be like, "Hey, John, here's what I'm noticing from my recoverability, from my energy levels, from my day to day. Here's what I'm doing when it comes to meals. This is where I feel good. This is where I feel like I need some adjustments." For example, recently he reached out. He said, "I want to incorporate more bicep movements to get my arms to pop." And that's obviously something that you can see in the photos. His arms have come a long way, but mostly triceps. So now we're going to bring biceps back up, right? And it is a game of progression and progressive overload. So you never get to this point where what you're doing is enough. You always need to add more to it to make sure you're continuing to see results. Otherwise, you plateau and you fall backwards. So we want to prevent that, which is why we have all these touch points of check-ins inside the program. Now, the next and final thing was training, right? So when it comes to training, this particular client actually doesn't have a gym membership. He works out in his basement, so he has equipment there. And we had to develop a training split that not only did he like, but also was going to, incorporate well with his daily exercise, right? He does a lot of mountain boarding and exercise outdoors. So we want to make sure that he can get the most from that and have the best, training sessions in that sport, but also making sure that with the weights, he's properly fueled and rested and he's getting stronger, right? So he can excel in that, right? So we looked at specifically RPE. RPE is rate of perceived exertion. So how difficult do these exercises feel? How many more do you have in the tank, when you're putting the weight down, right? You want to push past that 7 up into the 8, 8.5, or even 9 range, pushing close to failure. And especially with this client, we want to make sure that, we're not rushing things and we're not trying to put on too much weight. So we're keeping in that higher intensity range, also keeping rep ranges moderate to high. And then with progression, just like with the repetitions, also increasing the weight over time, increasing, the amount of sets we're doing, the amount of overall exercises and the volume of the program. And then most importantly, tempo. Tempo is how long are your eccentric, the negative portions on your rep ranges, how long are the upward concentric contraction portions, what is the overall rest time between sets, and then how long are you resting exercise to exercise. All of this we did within 40 to 60 minutes every single workout, and most of them are on the 40 to 45-minute range, because we want to make sure things are concise, easy to adhere to, and very simple, right? So this is exactly the 3-step pillar that me and Lee went through, as do all of my other clients. However, it does, tailor person to person. It's a bit customized. So these are the main pillars, and of course, like I said, it will be different from each client in the program, but this is what worked best for him. Now, if you want to see how you could potentially achieve similar results, and the reason I say potentially is it's true, it's not guaranteed. You have to put the work in, you have to actually take this stuff serious. And if you do, you can see similar results, but you also have different genetics, different strong points, and different weaknesses than this particular client. If you, though, want to see what your body is capable of and what you can achieve, you can go to my Instagram here at JStrivefit and message me the word ready, and I'll reach out to see if I can help. No, I can't help everybody. I am at the point right now where I'm very close to capacity on my overall clients. I can take on about 2 to 4 more guys tops, but because I just started a fitness challenge that's kicking off on Monday, September 1st, a few of those guys have already told me that they plan to continue working with me after the challenge, so that's taking up 2 of the spots. That being said, like I said, 2 to 4 max spots, what I'm currently taking on, in addition to people already inside the program. Achieve Your Ideal Physique is the name of the program. Just to give you guys some brief deliverables of like what it actually includes, and I had this written down on my whiteboard, which is why I'm glancing over at it. Progressive training structure inside a customized program for you with different phases. Overall, we're going to get you to your end goal, but we need to take it step by step. So we have 3 to 4 different micro phases within the entire program. Now, in addition to that, you also get access to my course. My course is on school. not like, college or high school, but SKOOL. It's a hosting platform where I can host, courses and communities in there. So we have our group coaching call links posted in there. Those are periodically, as well as the one-on-one, course modules, which are going to be nutrition related, training related, preventing, overcoming joint pain, injuries, things like this, as well as exercise selection, how to train till failure, how much rest time to be taking, how many sets, how to increase progressively, right? Volume, overall nutritional guidance when it comes to protein, carbs, fats, grocery shopping, you know, alcohol and what to be drinking, meal plans. All of the questions are on there, right? Meal prep, right? And not just that, but also how to manage your stress, keep that at bay so you see the best physique and you keep your cortisol levels low, right? All of that is inside my course. There's so many more videos, but those are just to name a few. You also get access to that, and as well the community in there. You can post wins, you can message other people with similar questions. We're all guys between ages 25 and 45. A couple of them are 47, 48, but for the most part 25 and 45 is the age window of the guys that I help, so you can lean on them with any questions. You'll also get access to my customized training app. In there, you'll have a 24/7 chat support feature where you can message me with any questions. You can send me pictures. You can send me videos of your form, of your technique, so I can make live on the feedback, on the spot feedback. You can also send me like a voice audio with any questions if it's hard to get across in text. And that's also where our main form of communication will be. That's where I'll send out our weekly coaching call link, our check-in photo link to make sure you upload your photos every week and you step on the scale, as well as reminders and habits I add in there automatically. So this way, you don't have to remember all these different things. A coach is there holding you accountable, and I've implemented systems to make sure that you're also getting additional reminders to stay on top of each and everything, because it's definitely a lot. But if you do everything and you stay focused, you will achieve regular physique, right? The next thing you also get access to in my coaching app is a customized meal plan. Now, of course, these are just for my one-on-one clients, but a customized meal plan is going to be fit into your specific caloric and macronutrient goals. So how many calories you need, how many grams of fats, protein, and carbs, and it's going to be customized with very easy meals that come with recipes and grocery lists, so you know exactly how much to do. Whether or not you want to weigh it out with the scale and be perfect, or you just want to eyeball things, I have it very simplified in there for you. In addition to that, in the grocery list, we also have weekly coaching accountability calls. Now, my one-on-one inner circle members, they get access to 2 optional coaching calls per week, which means every single week they have the opportunity, if they'd like to, they need something, to book 2 coaching calls with me, each of which we're going to, break down step by step where they're at to where it is they want to go. And the final thing you get access to is my group access. Now, inside my training app, I have what's called my inner circle group. Now, that also does come, with the one-on-one coaching. Now, I do have different tiers and different ways that I coach, but that's my most inclusive package because it comes with literally everything that you need. All of the nutrition, accountability, and training questions you have are packaged in there, each and every one being a deliverable to get you closer to your goal. But keep in mind, I said the word deliverable. That is not what you're investing into if you're working one on one with me. What you're investing into if you're working one on one with me is the transformation, the end result. Similar to how you can see above here, where I scroll up and you see before and after. That is what Lee invested, a lot of money into, right? He didn't invest into the training structure, the course, the community, all this stuff. Although they, that came with it. Those are deliverables. Um, Really what he invested into was this transformation, and he executed the process, and we're still working, right? We're not done with the program yet, but it's, about halfway through where we've been, working. And, overall, like, we're seeing a lot of results. So again, if you want to see how you can get similar results to this, if you do put in the effort, and you're hardworking, go to Instagram at jstroudfit, hit me with a follow, and then message me the word ready, and I'll reach out to see if I can help. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be doing more of these breakdown videos of my specific clients that have gotten good results. I just need to get the okay from them. Now, I have had a lot of people in my DMs and also texting me, asking on social media, etc. I want to work with you, but I don't want my information out there. Now, that is not a mandatory required thing. If you don't want your before and after photos of your insane transformation to be posted, that's totally fine. Like, you can literally just let me know and I'll keep it low key. Right. On the same note, if you don't want me to share your wins with the community, we can keep it one-to-one, make it more personalized. Because I do have a lot of clients that they're not in their inner circle group, right? And their stuff is not being posted on my wins channel or on Instagram stories when clients see success, because they just want to keep it one-to-one. Like, I have to respect that, right? Now, with all of that being said, I have different tiers, so not everybody wants everything. Some people just want a little bit of guidance. My best students, my most advanced clients, of course, the ones who get the best transformations, typically speaking, get most, if not all, of the things I outlined. But regardless, just message me the word ready on Instagram, and I'll see which program would make the most sense if I even can help you, because it's not everybody that can help. Some people aren't a good fit to work with me, they're not a good fit to be in the program, and they're not serious for that matter. But if you're serious, you're motivated, you're ready to take action, just message me on Instagram at jstroutfit, the word ready, and I will see you guys in the next video.